How can I believe in something I can't see? Yeah, that's a problem. But let's dig into it a little bit. There's actually a lot of things I can't see that I very much believe in. For example, my own mind. My own thinking right now. Do you realize that you watching this video, you have a whole lot of things going on in your mind? You have hopes and dreams. You have what you came out of 10 minutes ago before you started watching this video. You have the confusing, difficult challenges that you got tonight and tomorrow. You got all kinds of things in your mind, and all of those things, you can't see them. And you can't even see them in an MRI. You can't see them on a CT. There is no scientific test that can ever see your mind. And I'm pretty sure mine's there. Aren't you? So the mind's pretty important. In fact, if you think about, your brain did, forget the statistic exactly. I think it's 100 billion things. Your mind does 100 billion things. I think it's per second. You have so many neurons firing in your mind all the time in your brain. And they can see that. They would look at the neurons firing. They can put you under a fluoroscopy or an MRI and they go, wow, look at all the firing. But they don't know what it is, and they can't make you have a thought. But they see the mind working. They know something's happening. But all of those neurons firing, all the things your body has been doing in the last minute, billions and billions and billions of things your body and your mind have been doing in the last minute. And you have been completely unaware of them because where you live, where I live, is all in my mind. It's all my personal experience. It's my thoughts, it's my dreams, it's my hopes, it's my feelings, all of which are completely unseeable. So if your mind and my mind, sometimes philosophers call it the consciousness, this conscious part of you. If this conscious part of you cannot be seen on an MRI or a CT, what does that mean actually? That actually means it's not from the material world, because science is really good at detecting all of matter. We can detect the atom, this thing that you can't even see in a microscope. And now we know there's electrons and protons and neutrons and even these other funny things like quarks and I don't know. They know all of these things in the material world. They're brilliant at detecting all of those things. They just can't see you and who you are. I hear you. I get it. You say science is working on it. We're finding out things. We're working on it. I'm working on my ability to fly like Superman. Now, I don't mean to be disrespectful. I love science. I've made my life in medicine and science, love it. My whole world has been about the scientific realm. The problem with science is it by its own definition only deals with the material world. And the very fact that we cannot find the consciousness at this time, even speculating that we can find it later, no. It is quite probable, and as evidence stands now, it is not from the material world. The very fact that your mind doesn't show up on an MRI means it's not made from matter. So it's something else. The mystics and the Bible, they call it the spiritual world. Your mind doesn't exist in the material world. Your mind exists in the spiritual realm. Oh, okay, I hear you again. You say the word spiritual to a secular person and they go, okay, this is a realm, it's kind of spooky and you kind of made it up. Well, again, even if you're not an atheist and you're asking that question, you've been trained by atheists. You're asking an interesting question for which you have no answers. You actually don't know what it is. You do know one thing. It's not from the material world, because if it was made from matter, we're great at it right now. We don't need new science to find matter. We're great at finding matter. So your mind, your hopes and dreams, your thoughts right now, They do not exist in matter. And that's a problem. That's a problem for the atheist. It's one of my objections when I go by my three principles: science, logic, and evidence. I realized when I started looking at those and evaluating my own atheism, I realized that the atheist had reduced reality down to the material world, and they rejected anything else that was not made from matter. Well, here's a scientific fact for you. Scientists have actually determined now that matter is only 4% of the universe, that 96% of the universe is made up of something called dark energy and dark matter. And they don't know what it is. They know it's there. They see the attributes, kind of like your mind. We see the evidence of it. We just don't know what it is. So my whole deal is this. I hear all the questions because I get them all the time from an atheist. Don't talk spiritual realm. Don't say anything outside of the material realm. I'm just going to play the atheist here, and I'm just going to ask you a question without an answer. So clearly your mind and your consciousness is not made from matter. So you tell me, what is it? What is it? I have an answer as to what it is, but you tell me. You know, it's okay if you don't agree with me. It's okay that you don't agree with my conclusions about the spiritual realm, about your mind being from the spiritual realm. That's fine, and that's not illogical. But you got to be honest. Your mind and your consciousness is not made of matter. And if you're honest, you got to wrestle with that. It's the most important part of you. It makes up you. It's really something worthy of wrestling with. And let me be honest. I have zero trouble realizing that the mind is not from the material world because there's all kinds of evidence that it's not. But then to step from the mind over to God and say that God exists, that takes faith. That takes faith. The analysis of the mind opens me up to the reality that matter is not all that exists, that I have a life force within me that is not from the material world. I can't define for you what it is. I know what I believe it is. So yeah, I'll fall on my sword. I have faith. I actually believe in God. And I take that step of faith. It doesn't defy logic or science or evidence. It's simply added to it. And the truth is, I love my faith. I function in my faith well. I love it. It benefits my life. A little edgy here, but atheists, do you love your faith? Because you're certainly exercising it. It's a funny thing when I'm in a debate with an atheist. When I debate an atheist, they hate the notion that they're exercising faith, but they definitely are. And I know I'm losing some of you or getting your ire up if you're an atheist, but think about it. Have you actually traveled every corner of this universe and you can conclusively, factually, using science and logic and evidence, you can tell me there is no God? Come on. Again, got to be honest and you got to be thinking. That's not honest if you can tell me you did that. You're exercising faith. And the exercise of the atheist faith, it's fine. It's not unreasonable. I've never said that an atheist was not logical. I look at an atheist when I'm debating an atheist and I admit right off the bat, I can't show you my God. You can't touch him. You can't see him. You can't feel him. So I can't prove him in the material world. So it's not illogical to say that he doesn't exist. It just takes a step of faith. And you got to be honest about that. It's okay. It's not illogical, but it takes faith. Okay, so that being said, my experience of atheists is they hate to admit they have faith. They hate it. They want to base everything they think they believe on science. But the fact is, if you're an atheist, you are exercising faith. Sorry to break that news to you if that bothers you. And the difference between me and an atheist on this topic is I have faith, an atheist has faith. But I call my faith faith. Atheists, come on, guys, you tend to call your faith science. No. Your faith is faith. Science is science. When you take a leap, you are exercising faith. And the atheists that I debate with, when you admit you have faith, it's like you gain tremendous respect from me. I'm not trying to push people off their atheism. I don't find it as an illogical position. It's just not a good answer, but it's not illogical. And to exercise a little bit of faith to try and patch it all together, that's reasonable. It's fine. So where's your faith? Are you just some kind of conglomerate of neurons firing in your brain and that's all through random chance? Or are you something more? Comment below. Give me your comments, give me your questions. Let me know what you're thinking. And remember my position. Atheism is not illogical. I just find it inadequate.